and welcome to Hatha Yoga. For today's Hatha Yoga practice, we'll start off in a supported fish, placing one yoga block under the shoulder blades and a second one at the back of the head. I have it with the block between the shoulder blades on its lowest height to create a little lift in the thoracic spine. It's between the shoulder blades below the neck, and the second block is a little bit higher, and it'll support the back of the skull. So the actual cervical curve of the neck is in free space, but the back of the skull is supported, encouraging a slight tuck of the chin and a big expansion through the chest. You might have the knees bent or straight. It's really up to you. It often feels more comfortable to enter it with bent knees. And you can use your hands to adjust the second block at the back of the head. And once you're all set up there, you can close your eyes and bring the arms out to the sides. Feel free to let your legs totally relax. And then connect in with your breath. Make the exhales as long as you can. And the rebounding inhales will start to slow down and expand up through the rib cage and chest. Try to make the exhale longer than 5 seconds. And then soften the belly and let the inhale get a little bit longer as well. And then on your next inhale, reach your arms over the head. On an exhale, bend the elbows into a W shape, squeezing the shoulder blades a little bit. On the inhale, reach the arms straight back. And the exhale, bend the elbows. And then continue exploring that range of motion. Going at your own pace. And you're welcome to pause in a sweet spot where you find a nice stretch somewhere in the chest, or maybe it's a massage around the upper back. Take some deep, slow breath. And then supporting the head with both hands, do a little sit-up, move the yoga blocks off to the side, and then lay down and hug your knees into your chest, gently rock. the floor for windshield wipers, knees bent, feet as wide as the mat. With the arms out to the sides, exhale your knees over to the left. Inhale across center. Exhale, knees to the right, allowing the left hip to lift up. Inhale across center. Exhale to the left, lifting the right hip. And continue exploring at your own pace, going side to side. Now we'll meet back in the center. And as you exhale, bring your right hand on top of your left hand, both knees over towards the left. As you inhale, open the right arm up. At some point, you'll get a stretch in the chest. And then exhale all the way over to the other side. And then taking that left hand on top of the right, slowly open the left arm up. Slow the movement, stretching the chest. And then go all the way over to the other side, stacking the hands, stacking the legs. Open up from the right arm. Try resisting gravity, slowing the movement. And then go all the way over to the other side, stacking left hand on top of the right. Stack the legs. Open the left arm up and start to really slow it down near the end of the range. And then exhale all the way over to the other side. Open the right arm up. Find a sweet spot and hold for a few breaths. Right shoulder blade can squeeze into the middle of the back. You might feel a nice stretch around the side of your belly or ribs as well. And then go all the way over to the other side, stacking left hand on top of the right. Stack the legs. Open your left arm up. Slow down to the end range. And then pause at a sweet spot. Squeeze that left shoulder blade to middle back and breathe deep. And let the breath move you. We'll take a few more breaths here. And come all the way back to the center. Center your hips on the mat and rest your hands next to your feet. With an inhale, lift the arms over the head towards the back of the mat. Slow the movement. Exhale, bring your arms down by your sides. Inhale, lift the arms, reaching back. Resist gravity. And exhale, down slow. And do a few more vinyasas like that, linking your breath with the movement. Now hug your right knee to your shoulder and give the knee a big squeeze. Try straightening the left leg onto the mat, making that leg strong. And then take a few breaths here. And then switching sides, hug the left knee to the shoulder, squeeze it deep, and straighten the right leg onto the mat. And then bend both knees, place the soles of the feet on the floor, and bring the right leg up to the sky. Start with the knee bent. If you have a strap, you can place it around the ball of your right foot. If you don't have a strap, you can either hold the back of the leg or use a towel. If you're quite flexible, you might hook the big toe with the peace fingers instead. Now try to fully straighten the right leg, engaging the quadriceps. And explore flexing the toes towards the shin, lengthening more into the back of the calf. Take one more breath there. Now try to spread the toes and push the big toe up to the sky. As you exhale, open to the right, looking over your left shoulder. Inhale, back to the center. Again, exhale to the right, looking to the left. Inhale, back to center. 2 more to go. Opening to the right, and then use the inner thigh muscles coming back to the center. Open out to the right, back to center once more, and then open out to the right and hold for 5 breaths. Try to keep the legs straight. You can push the big toe into your fingers. You might also explore pushing out through the ball of the foot if you're using a strap. Your bent knee can press out to the left as a counterbalance, lengthening along the inner thighs. One more breath. Inhale, come back to the center. With your left hand holding the back of your head, tuck the chin. And then exhale, use your core, aiming your left elbow to your right knee. And we'll hold this pose for a few breaths. You can use the hand to help tuck in the chin. Also engage the muscles in the front of the neck, the deep neck flexors. And then inhale, let the head come down. Exhale, bend the knee and lower the right foot. We'll take a moment to rest on the back. Let your knees fall in towards each other. Let the feet rest apart. And then draw the left knee in towards the shoulder. Hook the big toe with the left peace fingers or use a strap or towel. Try to straighten the leg, contracting the front of the thigh while flexing the toes towards the shin. About 5 breaths there. Focus on the sound of your breath. Long, slow, deep breath. And next exhale, open to the left, bent knee to the right. Inhaling, come back to the center. And repeat. Exhale, gently pull back to the left. Inhale, back to center, using the inner thigh muscles more than the arm. A few more to go. Use your other leg as a counterbalance. Keep the front of the thigh contracted at all times. That's going to help lengthen the back of the leg more comfortably and keep the stretch away from the sitting bone. Next time you open to the left, hold the pose. You can grip the big toe or push the big toe into the fingers. So think of the big toe gripping the fingers, or push out through the ball of the foot. Stay strong in the front of the thigh. 3 more breaths. On your next inhale, come back to the center. Right hand holding the back of the head. With an exhale, tuck the chin, and then aim your right elbow to your left knee. So you're using the core, bowing up, and breathe there. Slight tuck of the chin. One more breath. Inhale, relax the head down. And exhale, lower your leg. Windshield wiper the legs side to side with the feet as wide as the mat. Stretching into the hips. And then come back to center and bring your heels just in front of your sitting bones. Rest your hands next to your feet. Try to keep your legs fairly parallel. So just imagine they were squeezing a yoga block. You don't actually need to squeeze a yoga block. Just pretend you were, activating the inner thigh muscles. With an inhale breath, lift the arms over the head towards the back of the mat. On the exhale breath, lift the hips up. Inhale, lower the arms down. And exhale, lower the spine, vertebra by vertebra. Inhale, lift the arms, reach back. Exhale, lift the hips. With an inhale, bring the arms down slow. Exhale, lowering through the vertebra. A few more just like that. Inhale, lifting the arms, resist gravity. Exhale, lifting the hips up. Inhale, lower the arms. And exhale, lowering through the vertebra. Nice and slow. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale, lowering the arms. Exhale, lower through the vertebra. Last one. Inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale to lower the arms. This time we'll keep them there. Try to wiggle the arms closer to each other underneath your back, squeezing the shoulder blades. Option to interlace the fingers if that's accessible to you, but focus mostly on squeezing the shoulder blades and rolling the shoulders back into the floor.
And you can play with straightening the legs a little bit without changing the feet, and then bending the knees a little bit more. Straighten a little bit and bend the knees. So if you use the front of the thigh muscles, those are the ones that straighten the legs. But in this context, they actually just lift the hips higher. Now keep that lift and press your heels towards your shoulders, toning the back of the legs, hamstrings and glutes. Legs are strong and parallel. And we'll move into supported bridge from there. So you can take a yoga block underneath your sacrum. That's the triangular bone around the lower back, closer to the top of the buttock region. It's below the lumbar curve. With the sacrum supported, you can let it rest on the block. Continue to roll your shoulders into the floor, releasing any interlacing. Let your arms just hang by your sides. And take a few breaths here. If you'd like to go on a higher support, there is the option to place the block on its highest height underneath the sacrum. You choose. And see if you can feel the breath radiating out into the sides of the belly and the rib cage. This is considered a gentle inversion pose. So you get a lot of the same benefits here that you would get doing a shoulder stand or a headstand. Your head is below your heart. This can have a really calming effect on the nervous system. Excuse me. So with the sacrum supported, keep your knees bent and explore lifting the right leg up to the sky. Start with the knee bent and then slowly bring the right foot down. Lift the left leg up to the sky and then slowly bring it down. Again, right leg up, slowly lower, left leg up, and slowly lower. Again, we'll bring that right leg up, and then try drawing that right knee towards your shoulder. So maybe you're holding the back of the thigh, maybe you're holding the front of the knee. If you're on the highest height, it's going to be a little harder to reach, so you might reduce your block to its lower height, around the sort of medium level. And then try to hug that knee in towards the right shoulder. Slowly straighten the left leg towards the front of the mat, sliding the heel out. And breathe. Allow both of your legs to move away from the midline a little bit, turning the right hip out a little more. And you might feel a bit of a stretch in the front of your left hip. Try to roll the weight back into the shoulders. And then letting go, slide the right heel towards the front of the mat. And we'll just rest there for a few moments. And bending both knees, draw the left knee towards the left shoulder. Squeeze that knee. And then try straightening the right leg. Roll the weight back into the shoulders. Take that bent knee out to the left a little more, away from the midline. And breathe deep. play with straightening the right leg. This might help you find a stretch in the front of your right hip. It's a great way to release your psoas. Think of the tailbone scooping forward towards the front of the mat, lengthening your lower back. A few more deep, slow breaths. Just imagine that breath radiating out from the belly and expanding up all the way to the heart area. And then letting go of the knee, bend both knees. Place the soles of the feet on the floor. And then with the sacrum supported still, engage your abs with an exhale and try to hover both feet off of the ground, keeping the knees bent. Sacrum presses down, and then engage between the shoulder blades and roll the backs of the shoulders into the floor. Now see how it feels to straighten your right leg up to the sky. And then bend the knee. Straighten the left leg up to the sky. And bend the knee. And repeat that a few times. Right leg straight, or as straight as you can get it comfortably. Then bending that knee, straighten the other leg. And continue alternating. And one more to go. And now straighten the right leg up to the sky as much as you can and bring the left foot to the floor, working with the knee bent. Or you can try to slide that left heel towards the front of the mat. Squeeze the inner thighs and breathe here. Engage your core, engage your inner thigh muscles, and try to root the left heel down into the earth. All the while straightening the right leg as much as you can. One more breath. And relax, bend both knees. Straighten that left leg up to the sky as much as you can. And then right heel to the floor with the knee bent. Or try to straighten that right leg, sliding it forward, rooting the heel into the earth. Squeeze the inner legs, hug the midline, activating those inner thigh muscles, adductors, and breathe here. You can stay strong in the core while breathing. Strong in the abs. And exhale, bend the knee, lower the foot. Bend both knees, lift both feet up. And then see how much you can straighten both legs at the same time. You may have to keep your knees bent to keep the sacrum rooted. And take a few breaths there. Try to squeeze the heels together. Squeeze the inner edges of the feet together near the big toes as well. Notice the inner thigh muscles contracting. Thighs spiraling in, neutral position. This is just like doing a supported fish but upside down. Continue to look up at your feet. On an exhale, engage your core and lower the right leg, keeping it straight. Inhale, bring it up. Touch the feet together at the top. Exhale, other leg down. Try to keep the right leg up totally still. Inhale, bring it up. So we're really working with the core here and the inner thigh muscles. Continue alternating. To keep that upper leg straight, we really have to work the hip flexors and work the core. And what's great about this kind of core work is that your spine is actually in a little bit of extension. So you're engaging the abs in such a way that allows you to keep the chest open, to work with upright posture, and to really work with back bending. A few more to go. You can add a little bit of a twist to the legs as well, strongly squeezing the center line, squeezing the inner thighs. Last one. And then both legs up, sacrum presses down. Bring the legs wide apart. Try to keep your legs straight and hold for 5 breaths. So this is like a wide-legged fold but upside down. Notice how your inner thigh muscles are having to work against gravity. That's really good. Now with your next exhale, bring the legs together, heels together. Inhale, slowly go wide, strong in the core. Exhale, heels together. Inhale, go wide. 3 more to go. Exhale, squeezing the midline, strong in the core. Inhale, go wide. So that squeezing of the midline helps us also activate the pelvic floor muscles, the floor of the core. Imagine an upward lift from the pelvic floor. And last one. Whew. Bring it up. And then bend your knees. Coming back to supported bridge, feet on the floor. And then slide your heels towards the front of the mat. Take the heels as wide as the mat. And we'll rest in this last variation of supported bridge. So you can let the feet turn out a little bit. Maybe you feel a nice stretch in the front of your hips. And I like to do that kind of work with private clients if they're a little bit tight as well. It forces the pelvis into a forward tilt, so you get really honest movement at the hip joint. And then bend the knees, placing the soles of the feet on the floor. Feet are about wider than hip width. Let the knees fall into the midline a little bit more. And then very slowly engage your upper back and lift your hips up. Take a few breaths in bridge pose. Remove the yoga block, but keep on lifting the hips. We'll take 5 breaths here. Squeezing the midline, activate the inner thighs. Strong in the upper back. One more breath. And exhale to come all the way down. Lay on your back. Draw the knees towards the shoulders. And breathe. And then come into happy baby, stacking the ankles over the knees. You can hold the shins if possible. Try to hold the feet. With an exhale, draw the knees towards the floor. Pulling back with the arms. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. You can stay still in this pose, or you can explore gently drawing one knee down more and then the other, rocking side to side. And then crossing the ankles, engage your core, and rock up to a seated position. Bring the hands towards the front of the mat, and we'll set up for table pose. So hands underneath your shoulders, knees below hips.
And then as you exhale, round your spine, dropping the tail. Look towards your belly button.
And take a breath in that position. On your next exhale, slowly bend your elbows coming forwards. Lower your hips towards the ground. Inhale, press up. And then exhale, sit towards the feet, puppy stretch. Inhale, come forward. Feel free to adjust the hands, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, push up, drop the tailbone. And exhale, sit towards the heels. And repeat that a few more times, moving with your breath. And then exhale, sit back towards your heels. Hang out in puppy stretch. You can walk the hands further forward as a counterbalance. You don't have to sit all the way back on the heels. It actually helps to stay forward a little bit more, just to keep it interesting. Maybe you rest the forearms on the floor. Maybe you're straightening the arms and lifting the forearms away from the floor. So you could try it both ways and see what feels better for you in this moment. And inhale, slowly come on up. Placing your hands just in front of your knees, tuck your toes under, and come into a toe squat. Start by pushing the bases of the toes into the floor, and then you might stay on your hands. If it's comfortable for you, you can fully sit back onto the heels and close your eyes. Flex the toes towards the shins, so you're engaging the muscles in the front of the shin, helping to really root down through the bases of the toes. And then come into full squat Malasana. So you can push into your hands and try to draw the weight back over your heels. We're not lifting heavy weights, so it's the yogi version where you can squat forward to have a cup of tea. Round your back, walk the hands forward, and drop the chin towards the chest. If this is inaccessible to you around the knee joints, you might explore putting yoga blocks underneath your buttocks to prop a little bit. And then still you can walk the hands forward, rounding the back as much as you're able. You may find that your knees are okay, but it's just the ankle joints where you're blocked up. If that's the case, you take the front of your mat and roll it up like a sleeping bag. It's totally worth it. And then you place the sleeping bag underneath your heels. Balls of the feet are on the floor. This will allow you to ground both the heel and all the foot to actually lengthen the breath. Being in the toe squat keeps us stuck in using the calf muscles. Muscles.
Lift your chest. Interlace the fingers. Exhale, press the palms up to the sky. And we'll hang out for a few breaths. Take the arms as far back as you can. Shoulders can lift up. And we'll go back to the toe squat. If you'd like an intermediate challenge, you can keep your arms up and bring your knees down. Otherwise, you can take your hands forward and come into a toe squat, undoing the fold of the mat if you used it. And hang out for 5 breaths. Intermediate form would look something like this. And then release the arms. Point your feet, setting up for Camel Pose. Legs are parallel. It's a lot like bridge, but kneeling. So just imagine you were squeezing something in between the thighs. Feet are as wide as the hips. And take the hands towards the back of the spine. Loop the shoulders up and back a few times. I call this movement saluting the camel. With an inhale, reach the right arm up to the sky, gazing up to the thumb. Exhale, bow forward, taking the hand behind the back. Inhale, coming up, lift the right arm again, and repeat that a few times. Exhale, fold, taking the hand behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blade in. Inhale to come up, lifting the shoulder blade. Exhale, fold, squeezing the shoulder blade to middle back. Again, inhale to come up. And exhale, fold. Last one. Inhale, come up, lifting the right arm. Tuck your toes under like a toe squat. And then step that left foot towards the front left corner of the mat. Bend the right elbow. And use your hand to gently push back on the upper arm bone, keeping it close to your head. Now as you inhale, you can bend your front knee out towards the little toe, like a squat. As you exhale, reverse the movement, pushing into your heel. Engage the buttocks and core. Inhale, bend the knee to your own comfortable degree. Exhale, reverse the movement, lifting the pubic bone, dropping the tailbone. And explore that a few more times. There's no perfect place to be. There's lots of movement to explore. And find a sweet spot that you'd like to hold. Take about 5 breaths. Regardless of where you're at in the pose, imagine your legs were a pair of scissors closing towards each other. So we press the right hip forward while drawing the left hip back. And the cue for that is imagining trying to drag the left heel back, even though it's stuck to your mat. And then slowly come on up. Straighten your front leg, slide the heel forward. Inhale, arms out to the sides. Exhale, twist to your left. Again, inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center, last one. Exhale, twist to the left. Right hand towards the floor, top arm up, and breathe. You can allow that left hip to turn outwards, just like in a squat. So there's a bit more space between the left hip and the rib cage. And try to breathe into that space on the left side. Strong in the right side of the core. And with an exhale, reach down, bend your front knee, and bring the legs back for Camel Position, pointing the feet. Walk the hands in. Loop your shoulders up and back. And then bringing the hands near the sacrum. With an inhale, lift the left arm up, saluting the camel. Exhale, fold forward, taking the hand behind the back. Inhale, reach up, lifting the left shoulder blade. Exhale, squeezing the shoulder blade to the middle of the back. Slow, smooth breathing. A few more to go at your own pace. Go extra slow near the end of each movement, which is like the end of your range in that movement. And next inhale, lift the left arm, tuck the toes like a toe squat, and then step your right foot forward near the front right corner of the mat, so feet are wider than hip width this way. Bend the elbow, and then take your right hand to the upper arm bone, close to the ear, gently pull back. And then explore bending into your front leg, strong in the buttocks and core, reverse the bend. Bend into the leg, and then reversing the bend, slight tuck of the chin. Continue exploring there. See if you can find a bit of stretch in the front of the left hip. Helps you use the breath. So the exhale works really well for reversing the movement, engaging the buttocks and core. And then find a sweet spot. Press the left hip forward, draw the right hip back, and contract the buttocks to help extend that left hip. Option to lean over to the right a little. And keep pressing the hand and upper arm bone against each other. And then straightening the front leg. Arms out like wings. Feel free to slide that right heel forward a little bit. Inhale, opening the arms. Exhale, twist to your right. Inhale, back to center. Again, exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the right. And then take that left hand down. Right arm up and breathe. Allow the right hip to turn outwards, even as you squeeze the midline between the thighs, creating more space through the right side of the spine. That also puts the right hip joint in a safer position for twisting movements. So we're training these connections before we do more pretzel-y poses. These are all pretty safe movements, though. And exhale, lower your right hand, bend your knee. Take the legs back to camel position. So top of the feet to the floor. Both hands near the sacrum. Bring the thumbs closest. And then loop your shoulders up and back. Squeeze the inner thighs. So just imagine there's something in between the thighs. Lift the heart as much as you can. This is a great place to stay. You might even feel a little bit of stretch in the hips or maybe a stretch in the chest as you squeeze the shoulder blades, so feel free to stay here. Option 2 is keep pushing the hips forward as the body goes back in space. Engage your core. And then slowly come up. Go back in space. Slowly come up. You want to feel the work in your legs as well as your core. Lots of length and space in the lower back, so the lower back should be feeling good. And if you'd like to go into the next stage of Camel Pose, you can catch hold of your ankles. Otherwise, stay in this stage. Using the core to go back and catch the ankles. Lift the heart, and we'll take 5 breath there. Squeezing the shoulder blades. If you know it's comfortable for the neck, go ahead and take the head back. Keep squeezing the imaginary block between the thighs. Awakening the inner leg line. And with core strength, come all the way up. And then sit back into child's pose or puppy stretch, your choice. Sitting back towards the heels, knees together. Feel free to support the head on stacked fists or a yoga block. And inhale, slowly come on up. Interlace the fingers and draw your elbows in close to your head. Yeah, we want to avoid splaying the elbows out for this next movement, so focus on keeping them in. And then we lift up through the elbow and the wrist. And we'll take that same awareness to the floor, so the forearms are on the ground. Tuck your toes under with the legs about hip width apart. Lift your knees and push your hips back. And you can send your heart towards your feet, pressing strongly through the wrist and the forearm. And just hang out there. Take some deep breath. Think of dropping the tail, but drawing the hips back. If you like to practice Shirshasana instead, go for it. I just hid something challenging in Sanskrit. This is a great place to be, though. You can take a break at any time. And try to slow your breath down. And if you're still up there, you might round your back a little bit more. Slowly straighten the legs to bring your shoulders over your elbows, holding a forearm plank. Feel free to bring the feet further away from your elbows and press the legs together. 3 more breaths. Shoulders away from ears, neck and jaw relaxed. And then lower your knees for child's pose, sitting back towards the heels. Relaxing the body. The toes together, knees wide apart for the wide-legged version. Maybe you're placing a yoga block underneath your forehead. And take some deep, slow breath. Very good. And then we'll slowly bring the legs out in front. So take your feet out in front of you. Hands about half a foot behind you. Proudly lift the chest. And with the heels as wide as the mat, windshield wiper the legs side to side. And then come back to center and place your left ankle over the right thigh near the knee. Lift your chest and then drag the right heel in a little bit closer to the sitting bone while intending the left thigh forward. So we're externally rotating the hip to do that. And we'll just hang out. Proud lift of the chest. And the idea is to find a stretch in the left buttock, left hip. And you're welcome to stay there. Otherwise, we'll go into a spinal twist. Right foot outside the left hip. Left leg is on top as that foot comes off to the right side. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, twist half Lord of the Fishes. I guess this is supposed to be like a fish's tail. Not totally sure. So you can take your right hand to your knee or bring the whole arm outside of the leg, hand to the hip, and then gaze over your left shoulder, squeezing left shoulder blade to middle back. Actively press the arm and leg into each other as well. Inhale back to center, and then switch. Place the feet on the floor, and then bring the left ankle, or right ankle rather, over the left thigh. Lift the chest proud, and press the right thigh forward towards the front of your mat. 5 breaths here. And think of drawing the ears back over the shoulders, slight tuck of the chin. So this engages those deep neck flexors in the front of the neck. And you're welcome to stay as you are. Otherwise, half Lord of the Fishes, taking the right foot off to the floor outside of that left thigh. Left heel can move just outside the right hip. And with an inhale, lift the heart up, taking your hand to the top knee or to the hip. Exhale to twist, looking over that right shoulder. And breathe. Right shoulder blade squeezes to middle back. Left shoulder blade can spread out. Try to press the leg and arm into each other again. Lots of length and space up the right side of the body while contracting through the left side. Inhale back to center. Bring the legs out in front. And then tall spine. Take an inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale to slide the hands over your feet or hold around the back of the knees to support a bent knee position with the arms. Inhale to lift the heart up. Exhale, fold, rounding your spine as much as you're comfortable. Let the chin tuck in. Let the back of the spine relax. You can also let the belly relax for the most part. If you very gently pull back with your arms, that has the effect of engaging the lats, the muscles underneath the armpits here. And when you engage the lats like that, that also helps activate the lower portion of the transverse abdominis. So there's like a little suction inwards that happens just above the pubic bone and about an inch or so below the navel. So you can play with gently pulling back on the legs or pulling back on the feet while relaxing the upper belly. And inhale, slowly lift your chest. Sliding the feet towards the front of the mat. Exhale, lay down with core strength. The six-pack abs are working now. And then make your way onto your back into relaxation. If you feel any discomfort in your lower back, try putting a yoga block underneath each of your knees. I like to have them underneath the calves as well, so I can get a little calf massage from the blocks. And then completely relax onto the floor. Soften the shoulders down the back. And completely let go of the body.
Welcome to come back very slowly, bringing awareness back to the hands and feet. Slowly turn the head from shoulder to shoulder, stretching the neck. Circle the ankles and the wrists. And take a long inhale to reach the arms back. And a long exhale to bend the knees. Engaging the abs, bring your hands to your knees and hug them in. And take a few breaths there. And then rolling over to one side. Slowly help yourself up. And thank you very much for practicing with me today. Peace, everybody. Hope this served you well. And I wish you a great rest of the day. And I'll see you on Saturday morning for some more laid-back yoga. In the meantime, feel free to check out my website or my YouTube channel. The same videos are on both. I've been adding quite a bit of stuff there over the last few weeks. Thank you. Almost fell asleep there. Oh, good. Glad to hear that, Joanne. Thank you. Time to go to bed.